All right, let's bring in our two guests who have been with us throughout this trial. We have crime analyst Lisa Lockwood and entertainment attorney Mitra Ahurian. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. There is a lot to unpack here. Since our last little chat, we had Johnny Depp finish his testimony, and then we heard from the former TMZ employee about that cabinet video. So Lisa, let's start with you. What struck you the most about that TMZ employee and his testimony?
Well, one of the things that I liked is that he came forward on his own recognizance. He is the person who went to the Johnny Depp attorneys to say, I found something that was interesting, that deviated from the footage that we actually received originally at TMZ and what was shown in the case, so I can help you with the timeline. So to me, that was congruent testimony. That's what stood out for me.
All right, we're just going to chat while they're doing a quick sidebar. Lisa, tell me, how hard do you think it's going to be to cross-examine this witness? He had a long list of qualifications and seems very serious about his job right now. How do you think Amber's team is going to do facing off against him?
Well, remember when he first started, they started giving his credentials. And he says the reason he likes this job is because there's no room for bias. This is all forensic data. And how do you argue forensic data? So with him actually bringing the material forward, showing the system that it was used on, and then also showing the introduction of software that is used to alter it with digital numbers, all that metadata is there, he's able to show that. So that might be a question for Mitra. I wouldn't know how to do that.
Hello and welcome back to the afternoon session. I'm Allison Hall on the Law and Crime Trial Network. We are covering day 22 of Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. The metadata expert Brian Neumeister has just finished his testimony. We saw a pretty heated cross-examination, and I'd love to bring in my guests Mitra and Lisa to chat about that. Lisa, let's start with you. What did you make of that cross-examination? Do you think that Amber Heard's team scored any points there?
I don't. At that final wrap at that very end, when the forensic analysis, metadata analysis was able to say the photo was completely different once it became a screen grab and it was uploaded into another vehicle, which was some type of software for storage. So that made sense. It took a long time to get there with all those questions, but basically he said all of the photographs that he was told that he needed to look at were not the original ones that came straight from the iPhone and downloaded. So screen grabs will have a completely different look to them. And we all know that because we do it with our own phones. So that was important information, and I don't think it helped Amber's case.
Lisa, let's go to you on that question. Some of these expert testimonies, especially this one, they can be a little bit dry, a little bit into the weeds on the technicalities. Do you think that the jury is going to be able to understand exactly what all of that meant?
I do. I give jurors a lot of credit. They're sitting throughout this entire case. They're learning as they go, but because of their backgrounds being so various in different types of jobs, we all have phones. We all take photos on our phones. We all know the editing, processing of phones. We know about uploading, sharing. The list goes on. So I think the way it was broken down, it made it palatable to make sense for the jury to have a better understanding of it.
Yep, and I'm sure that we will hear more about those photos in the closing arguments. I'm sure they'll bring up some of those points that he made, at least definitely on Depp's side.